I'm personally not a fan of the Bristol dirt. I'd rather them go to an actual dirt track. Honestly, I don't think the Cup Series needs to be on dirt. As a guy that's run dirt track racing, what would you think? Would you ever do the event, and do you think the Cup Series needs to be on dirt?
Well, I think I tend to go to Kyle Larson's comments, as Kyle Larson is probably the most experienced and successful dirt racer that certainly I've ever seen. And I mean, I completely understand what he is saying, because those cars, I mean, they were not built to go dirt racing. Like, I'm sorry, but they're not built for it. You're going sprint car racing, you're going midget racing, you're going World of Outlaws racing. I mean, those are all built for dirt racing. And, obviously there's some sprint cars that race on pavement as well, but like there's cars that are meant for dirt and cars that aren't. I enjoyed watching some of the Cup race. Like, I thought the restarts and when they weren't spinning and crashing, and watching Christopher Bell and watching Tyler Reddick, and actually when Christopher Bell and Chase Briscoe, two really good dirt guys, were running, nose to tail, really trying to push each other on the cushion, on the top side of the track. Like, that I thought was really cool. So I think there was some great parts to it, but there was also, a bit of, all right, people are crashing a little bit too easily. There's some people that are just running into each other pretty aggressively. Because again, I think with those cars, they're so wide. Like, then they're so massive that you can fit a lot more midget and sprint cars and World of Outlaw cars in smaller spaces. So it's a bit probably better to race those. So I did enjoy seeing JJ Yaley start third or whatever in the final. I thought that was pretty cool. Obviously that did not last long, but like kind of a bit of a mix up there in the grid. But yeah, some tough days for some people, but also, to see Christopher Bell win, I think that was, he's a dirt guy. He's really good. I wanted to see him and Chase Briscoe on the last lap get to battle it out. I wanted to see Tyler Reddick, see if he was going to throw a slide job on Christopher on the very last lap. But then obviously they had a crash on the last lap, which that is so sad. Like, poor Ross Chastain got, I don't know what was going on there, but ended up parked on the track, and I could tell Tyler Reddick was Tyler Reddick, obviously he's going to do something. He's going to fire something in there. But yeah, really cool to see Christopher Bell get that win. I like Christopher Bell a lot. Good guy. But yeah, interesting weekend to see the people's responses, I would say. I obviously we have literally the ability right now with the Twitter sphere to go straight to what people are saying. And there are a lot of people with many opinions, as we know. And I myself can understand a little bit of both sides. I'm not one way or the other. I think I agree with Kyle Larson because he's very experienced. I would say that Bristol pavement I actually enjoy watching the Bristol pavement race quite a lot. I think the dirt thing was a cool experiment. If it was very great, then like keep it going. But I mean, maybe, hey, you know what? We tried it. We got a good run out of it, and still millions of people watch NASCAR. We see TV ratings again today. There are still 3.5 million people watching the race, but all of their races have been down, ratings wise. So that's really a whole other story. Like, to see NASCAR every single race kind of down a lot, I don't really know why that is. I see a few different metrics on not as many people are watching television. But then you see things like the women's national championship, more people watch that than they ever have, and certain things. Like, people are watching TV. I think people are just so distracted with other crazy things. So you really have to capture people's attention. You have to be the viral thing that people want to watch. So who knows how that'll play out for both IndyCar and NASCAR. And even Formula One, I guess, because Formula One is viral with their Drive to Survive series, and they have gone up quite a lot. But I mean, in America, they're still, very, very, very low on the ratings totem pole. So, so I'm very curious to see what they do with the dirt race. Again, not my favorite thing, but I would say there were some moments where I was like, hey, this looks fun. This looks like fun, as long as you could see and, maybe compete. So that was really it from the racing side, I guess, from the weekend. I don't know, if there was, obviously you had Ryan Preece as well. Kyle Larson, Ryan Preece, people getting into it there. Ryan Preece really seems to be. I don't know Ryan Preece, but I respect the fact that he got a chance. I love that Tony Stewart employed him because I think he has done very well in the equipment that he has had. And now he's got a chance with really good stuff. And, to be wrecked in random, areas, to be wrecked by other guys who have probably been there, who he's probably seen, and he's like, man, I got to be able to compete against these guys. I understand how difficult, that could be. And he's really throwing some wild comments out there, and he's not taking any crap from anybody, as they say. I mean, he's not taking it. And I kind of respect that. He's exactly right, because I saw one of his comments after the race that he says, if you give these guys a bumper, like if you give someone a bumper, they will take it every time and they will run you over. And that's the same in IndyCar. Like if you let someone, push you off the track, like they will do it again and again and again. But if you, and I mean, it might even cost you a race. Like if you get wrecked by someone, or if you stand your ground and you wreck both yourself and the other guy, then it's like, hey, all right, probably not going to happen again. You know what I mean?
Right.
I kind of respect those. I kind of respect those comments. Did you see those as well? Did you
I
feel
did.
the same
Yeah.
about Ryan
And
Preece?
one thing about Ryan Preece, too, he was doing a lot better than I thought he was. He's had a pretty crappy season so far, but he was running top 10 pretty much the whole race. So I was actually really impressed with that. Just him coming from an asphalt modified. But yeah, he's got a lot to prove. He's got a chip on his shoulder. I'd put it kind of a similar situation to Ross, where he started off his career kind of in some not great cars and then took a chance with Joe Gibbs' Xfinity car, got some wins there, went up to Cup, I think he's at JTG, didn't do that great, kind of went back and forth, and then kind of settled in with Haas, and Tony seems to love him. So yeah, it was interesting too. I don't know if you saw Tony, I think took Larson's side too in the booth. I think I know Larson retaliated and kind of put himself in the wall, but Tony seemed to kind of go on Larson's side with the whole thing. So I found that really interesting.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I just love Tony Stewart in the booth, honestly.
I do
Tony
too.
Stewart
He's awesome.
is never not going to be honest, and you got to respect that out of Tony.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he is a no BS guy, and I love that about him.